First, coming to you with the question of what is going to happen to the astronauts next. Of course, the medical checkups, and how exactly do you push that feeling of coming back in the gravitational pull here on planet Earth?
Yeah, thank you, Sakshi. Yes, actually, we saw them. In fact, see, within 1 hour of their landing, they were cool into, their medical checkup room on board the cruise ship. So they will now we understand they will have to undergo a compulsory 45 days of rehabilitation, a structured rehabilitation program, which is tailored to suit each of the astronauts. And that would probably happen in Houston, Johnson Space Center or wherever. I think only after that they will go back to their homes. That is what the news says. So 45 days they will be to the rehabilitation place medically.
Right. Group Captain Jha, let me come to you with the question of what exactly went wrong with the Starliner, the propulsion failure, of course. And if we compare it with, the Dragon spacecraft, what are the technological and, of course, the scientific advancements that Dragon has over Starliner?
Actually,
Uh,
I have written a
oh,
book. Sorry.
Yeah, the
no,
question was
please
with
go ahead.
Group Captain Jha, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have written a book.
Right.
This is about the concepts in the human space missions. It was written about 7 years back. The thumb rule of any space exploration is that you must not carry a space vehicle which has got any fault. Uh, you may postpone your trip blast off as long as possible. But when you take that vehicle, it should be absolutely in the perfect serviceable condition. And that is where Boeing had faulted. Uh, blameworthiness and other things, they will decide among themselves. But equally, responsibility is of the test astronauts also. Both Sunita as well as Butch, they were the test astronaut. They were going to fly this airliner for the first time. It was their responsibility also to insist that they must not be offered a faulty vehicle. Uh, I think two of the thrusters had shown some helium leak at the ground itself on the first day when the blast off was postponed. And then the day it was blasted off, that day also there was leakage. But possibly the hierarchy of Boeing airliner, they felt that it is negligible, not knowing that under the conditions or vagary of the space, the pressure differential across any of the leaking body aggravates. So that is what had happened. And from two leakages, they went to the five failures. And when failures happen in the propulsion system, then the control becomes very weird. You are now dependent on the edge of the control maneuverability of the spacecraft. That should not have happened. But then you can't go back. They can't go back in the time. So there was a question whether they should come back in the Starliner or they should come back in another one. That time itself, I had written an article that the only way is to send a certified vehicle, which is absolutely serviceable, in which there is no doubt of anything going wrong. That should be sent. And as on today, USA has got only the Space Dragon of SpaceX. So that should have been sent. But for whatever reason, they have taken a decision of delaying sending that vehicle. Uh, all is well that ends well. Everything has ended well here. They are back here. But then, this 9 months, what has gone through, it was unexpected. Usually, the space crew have spent at a stretch more than a year, at a stretch. And there are some crew who have spent, about more than 1,000 days, 1,100 odd days they have spent cumulative. It is all planned. When you go for a research or go for a test or anything of the experimentation, you go prepared. Mentally, you are prepared that yes, you are going to be. It is going to be that many days, plus minus maybe a few days here and there. That's fine. But this 8 days must not become that 9 months. That is usually not the type of planning that goes into any of the missions. So they were there, but then at International Space Station, there is so much of backlog of the experimentations to be done. At any given time, there are dozens of the experiments or tests or trial or the EVA that are stacked for being undertaken. So Sunita as well as Butch, both were involved, both were assigned those experiments. And all these 9 months, they have been doing plenty of experiments that they have done. Sunita has, I believe, she has also had a couple of spacewalks wherein they go out of the spacecraft and then repair or rectify the things or add few things or subtract few things. Those things have been done. So they have been thoroughly busy. Space is a very hostile condition
Right.
because it is not only the microgravity, the lack of, and I've got few questions people who had asked me, why is it a lack of gravity there? It is not that the Earth's gravity doesn't reach there. It is just about 400 odd kilometers. Earth's gravity is almost about 0.85 of the 1g. So gravity is there. But the velocity at which spacecraft, they revolve the Earth in the orbit, that centrifugal force equals the centripetal pull of the Earth's gravity. So the net result is zero. And that is how within the spacecraft, all people, everything is under microgravity or zero gravity. So that is a new
Right.
condition in which, if you can give me about another 30 seconds, I'll just tell
Yeah,
you the
sure, sir.
main problem
Sure.
of the.
Yeah.
So there's no weight. And once you don't have weight, and that is continuing for a greater period, then the anti-gravity muscles that we have, which makes us stand erect here on the Earth, they go weak. Similar is the loading from the bone that goes off because there is no weight. So bone demineralization, the minerals, calcium, oxalates, and other things, they come out of the bone, making it weak, especially among the women who are menopausal. The bone density is as such less, and that when further demineralization happens, they are at a risk. So it is mandatory for all astronauts to go onto the 1.5 to 2 hours of the exercise schedule for boosting up, for toning up their anti-gravity muscles, as well as loading up the bones. So this is mandatory, and these two people also had been going up through all through. So there is no immediate challenge. But apart from the lack of gravity, there are radiations also which is coming up, and radiation is anytime about 100 odd times greater than what we usually hear experience here on the Earth. So in the coming days, they will be checked up. I will be tested for any premature cataract or anything of that. The body will be scanned for the total amount of radiations that will be there, among many other things. Usually all systems in the body that we have, be it cardiovascular system, gastrointestinal system, respiratory system, urinary system. There are cases of stone being formed in the space because the flow of the urine is not as it is here on the Earth. So many of the
Okay.
challenges are there. Other than that are the psychological problems as well,
Right.
separation from the family, even though you have got a company of other 4 or 6 crew with you, but then you miss your family. And for Sunita and Butch, especially, they were not scheduled to be living that many
Days over
months.
there, yeah.
They should have had some amount of anxiety, but then that is all part of them. They are highly experienced, highly trained, and they are test astronauts, so they would have experienced all this, and I'm sure they will be able to recoup much faster than anyone else that had happened. Wish them
Interesting,
all the
interesting
best.
that you have highlighted that factor, that why they have to do their continuous workout. Hence, we saw those visuals of them on the treadmill and
Yes,
also on
yes.
those pulleys doing the pull-ups and everything. But my next question to you, Dr. Hegde, would be about this international collaboration that happened between NASA, SpaceX, Roscosmos. It was very crucial for them, of course. But do we see ISRO also reaching there in near time future? Can we expect some sort of international collaboration or a lone sole project from India's side?
Yeah, some time ago, ISRO has entered into the kind of understanding with US, NASA, and as one of those, Axiom crew, one of the 4 selected astronauts from India is scheduled to fly. In fact, he was supposed to go in this mission, Crew 9, but since it was swapped to bring back the astronauts who were there for long, Suni Williams and Bush Wilmore, it has been swapped. I think probably in the next flight, one of our astronauts from India will go up on Crew Dragon.
There's one more follow-up question in that in my previous question only. What would be the learnings for the ISRO for this one, since we are also planning to have our own space station there? Apart from that, we are also planning for one manned, space mission by year 2040. So, what are the critical things and the highlights that India should pick up from this particular mission?
I think today ISS is such a proven space station. The astronaut, I mean, whosoever goes there from India or anywhere, they get a real feel of a space laboratory working for quarter of a century now. And of course, microgravity, zero gravity is all one thing, but getting used to the routine there, even to do or meet your daily needs, whether it is brushing teeth to using toilet to, I mean, all kinds of things have to be really learned up in space. So it would be a nice feeling, a nice exposure for our astronaut whenever he goes there. And of course, there is a good bit of time for our own crewed mission to go up. Because though we have an ambitious target of 3, 4 years or 5 years from now, there could always be delays.
Indeed, interesting. Group Captain,
So, I mean,
right,
yeah,
right. So, please continue. Yeah.
yeah, after, in fact, Squadron Leader Rakesh Sharma went up, uh, probably, I mean, we could have continued, having some collaboration, sending people up. So the first-hand experience would have been brought back to the country and it would have proliferated among the aspirant astronauts.